Morning, everybody. I nearly missed that because I was tweeting about the Air Transport IT Summit. Look at #ATIS and you'll find the tweets. The latest one says just about to go on the stage with Mark from me. Right, welcome to the 10th Air Transport IT Summit, jointly hosted fittingly by SITA, the Air Transport Community's own IT provider, an airline business, the leading business magazine of our industry. When we started this event, in quite a low-key way in 2000, our sights were set on becoming #1. And today I can say without any fear of contradiction that our IT Summit has indeed become the #1 IT event for the air transport industry. And once again, I'm delighted to say that we have delegates from across all parts of our industry here today. Today, you, our audience, are made up of airline and airport CEOs, CIOs, vice presidents, managing directors, senior managers, and many more from every corner of the globe. I'm sure that all of you enjoyed, as I did, the splendid hospitality and entertainment last night. How did they do that, by the way? At the Chateau du Lac, and many thanks to Orange for that. And I'm also sure that yesterday's very popular SITA Industry Insight sessions will have whetted your appetite for today's plenary sessions. So let me turn to the topics and themes of the day. As we look ahead to the new decade, there are promising signs of recovery for air transport. Traffic volumes are now rising, though Europe remains weaker. So thankfully, there is no denying that the recovery is happening. On top of that, we've begun to hear more upbeat messages within the industry, with IATA's recent Vision 2050 painting a more positive picture for the future than I've seen for a long time. But there's also no denying that in the last year, we faced unprecedented challenges as an industry, and with the volcanic ash crisis, we experienced even more unwelcome disruption. The crisis produced estimated revenue losses of $1.7 billion, adding insult to injury as it came on the back of some $47 billion of losses for the last decade. Yet, in the same decade, the first decade of the 21st century, we also saw and learned from a number of game-changing digital revolutions, where IT revolutionized our business, and where IT was fundamental in helping us as an industry to navigate the stormy economic waters we were facing. Our industry delivered what people said was impossible. We improved customer service and saved costs. By moving selling and customer service online, we succeeded in delighting our customers with self-service, making interactions so easy for passengers that they wanted to do it themselves. The online revolution meant zero queues for booking and check-in. You don't have to stand in line in cyberspace, or at least you shouldn't. The online revolution also brought massive savings in distribution costs, costs at the airport and costs in our back office. So, we're here to talk about the second decade of the 21st century. What about the second decade of the 21st century? Where is our next digital revolution going to come from? I think we would all agree that there's a bewildering choice of technology available to us. So this summit is about helping all of us to choose the technology winners. And we must never forget, of course, that technology is never just about technology. Successful IT is all about how you use it. There must be no IT projects in airlines and airports, only business projects. So as we look forward to the next digital decade, my question for all of you today is, are we in the air transport industry on the threshold of another digital revolution that will change the way we operate? Now my answer is unreservedly yes, I believe we are. I look forward to hearing the views of the other speakers and of everyone here in the audience today to see if you agree with me. My core message to you and to the industry as a whole is that we should recognize how vitally important IT and telecommunications are to the prosperity and the progress of our air transport industry in the next decade. Air transport was classically an IT early adopter starting in the 1960s. Now we are one of the most IT-enabled industries there is on the face of the globe. But here's the vital point. I believe there will be a sharp divide in terms of revenues, in terms of cost base, in terms of customer satisfaction, between those alliances, airlines and airports, who recognise that IT is an integral, in fact a fundamental part of our air transport business, and those who don't. My message is that all of us in this industry must understand how to use, deploy and exploit technology, as IT will revolutionise our businesses again over the next decade, as it has done before. Check-in in the 60s, frequent flyer programs in the 70s, GDSs in the 80s, low-cost carriers in the 90s, internet in the 2000s. Every one of us in this room needs to be prepared for the next digital decade. IT and communications will bring many opportunities our way. We saw some great ideas, concepts and visions in the video clip we just saw. As an industry and as individual businesses, we have to be ready to respond to these opportunities. They're going to be transformational. We should not be frightened of IT. We should embrace IT as we have in the past, as a means to delight our customers with the product innovation they want, and at the same time reduce costs across our wider business and the whole air transport industry. Get this right, and you get a virtuous circle. Today, we've brought together our best ever selection of thought leaders from across the industry to help make sense of the IT opportunities we face. They represent airlines, airports, aircraft manufacturers and industry bodies, a pool of great industry knowledge and experience. We'll be hearing about the experiences of airlines and airports from many different parts of the world, and how they are each facing the next digital decade. We'll be seeing the digital revolution from the perspective of the digital traveller, the digital airport, and the digital aircraft. We've devoted the first morning session to looking at the big picture. As we know, the economic crisis has affected the world's regions differently. So to kick off, I'm delighted that we have two CEOs from airlines based on different sides of the world. President and Chief Executive Officer of Air France-KLM, Pierre-Henri Grosjean, and Tony Tyler, Chief Executive of Cathay Pacific and the past Chair of the IATA Board of Governors. Our second session of the morning will look at whether technology can deliver further efficiencies to our industry. The IATA Simplifying the Business programme has already taken us a long, long way, but there's still much further to go. So what are the emerging technologies that are going to make a difference? How might we adopt them, and how far can they take us? For this session, I'm going to give you my view as Chair of SITA and CIO of British Airways on the technologies to watch. We'll then welcome my fellow SITA board member, Jay Fredericks from Delta Airlines. He will be followed by Adnan Metin, Senior Vice President and CIO of Turkish Airlines. We'll then get to hear from the airports community. This year we have two excellent speakers from airports that are located in what are probably the fastest developing regions for air travel at the moment, Asia and the Middle East. First,